expecting a cow.
Well, hello there. Hi.
Um,
Jason here at Green Catcher Agroforestry. Caught me doing a little picking and grinning. I guess it's time for me to get up and go back to work.
Yeah, I thought you were supposed to be weeding or.
You know about that?
You have a lot of weeds.
We don't have any weeds.
What?
No, we don't have any weeds at all.
Mm-hmm.
You don't believe me, do you?
Stickers.
You don't believe me, do you? Ah, you don't believe me. Well, come along and I'll show you. Okay, I'm pulling stuff out. What does it look like?
Looks like you're pulling weeds.
It looks okay. So it looks like I'm weeding, right?
Yeah.
It looks could be deceiving. I'm not really weeding.
Okay.
Weeding is a horrible chore. I hate weeding. It's so time-consuming.
Feeding the worms.
It's not so time-consuming to be weeding, and
Yeah.
I really don't want weeds in the first place, right? So what I'm doing here is not weeding. It is harvesting resources.
For the worms?
Yep, harvesting resources for the making of compost using worms. That's what we're doing here. And
Stickers.
we have a volunteer tree of some sort here. What do you suppose that one was? That's not
Not a pecan.
that's not a wild pecan. That's probably
It's like the thing you planted.
that might be a soapberry.
Or the thing you planted there.
I haven't planted anything there.
Oh.
But we're starting to get to that point where the garden is planting things for us. We have other animals that like to come in and engage in planting activities, right? So we'll have squirrels come in and drop off nuts. We'll have birds drop off seeds whenever they're resting in the branches. They'll fly in from other places and sit here to consume their meal because it's a nice, friendly, inviting atmosphere for them. We provide them with shelter. We provide them with water. We provide them with habitat. And yeah, sometimes with a nice, tasty treat or two. So they like to come here, and sometimes they bring things with them. So somebody brought their lunch with them, and we have this small tree here that at the moment I can't identify off of the top of my head. I am gonna guess, man, I don't even want to guess. This might be an ash tree actually. Look at the leaves along that stem there. See, it has a little bit of leaf surface there, right? Would that be a winged ash tree? I've actually been trying to get some ash trees in here because the ash tree, particularly prickly ash, makes a fruit that makes a very delightful seasoning. And it's nice to have seasonings for your food. So having some of these trees that are not necessarily food themselves, but are seasoning is helpful. All right, so I'm gonna kind of select out here so that we're leaving this grass, this clumping grass. It doesn't spread much. It doesn't grow very tall, right? And it's not overly aggressive. So it serves for a ground cover until I can replace it with something that I prefer. I want a ground cover for its intended purpose. You know, it shades the ground. The roots feed sugars to the microbiome in the soil, retains the moisture that we need. This keeps the soil living and active. That's even better than putting fertilizer on it. So we don't want to remove all of these so-called weeds because they all serve a purpose. As I said, we need to figure out what purpose they're serving and then replace it with something that will serve us better. So here we have stalks from a sunflower. I'm going to put those to the side because later on, probably this winter, we'll take those and make biochar out of them while we're heating the house. So everything in nature serves a purpose. If it doesn't serve a purpose, it's not going to be there. Things that don't serve a purpose, they wind up suffering and they die really early on. They don't survive. So everything that you see growing in nature that is vibrant and living, it's serving a purpose. The question is, what purpose is it serving? And if we don't want that particular species growing, what do we need to do to replace it with something that will fill that same place that will be helpful to us? Moving on from that area that's still under construction, let me show you a place where we've already put this into practice, where we've taken out the existing weeds and replaced them with plants specifically chosen to fill those exact same niches. So I don't have weeds. What I have is this. Okay, here we are in the corn patch. It's been a while since I replanted the corn. I want to show you everything that's going on in this space. It looks like a chaotic mess, doesn't it? All right, let's bring the camera over here and have a closer look though. So this particular plant here is pigweed, and it's often considered to be a pest plant that grows in crop fields, but it has a specific purpose, a thing that it's doing in the soil, right? This thing is trying to free up soil compaction and bring phosphorus up to the surface. That's why it's growing here. So we pulled up a lot of this and we replaced it with other plants. Our corn is here, of course, but you'll notice that we also have this buckwheat here. And buckwheat does a lot of the same thing that lamb's quarter and the pigweed would do. Well, specifically the lamb's quarter. This is a crop that likes to absorb our excess fertility, but it has another benefit that the lamb's quarter doesn't bring. All these tiny little flowers are attracting parasitic wasps,
So tiny.
yep, and other predatory insects that help control our pest population. So they're busy working in the places where the ducks, which eventually will come in here and take care of some of our other pest control. But those insects are going to go around and work in places where the ducks can't get to. So this is doing a couple of different things. It's providing that trap for excess fertility and providing food for pollinators. Not to mention, buckwheat itself is nutritious. You can eat it. The leaves are edible. The seeds are edible. It's 100% edible. Moving this stuff out of the way, let's look down here underneath. Yes, we do have a sunflower here. All right, so sunflowers are growing in here. Sunflowers are also a good trap crop. They provide a habitat for the wheel bugs, assassin beetles, that will take care of the pests that, once again, the ducks can't necessarily get to. Let's go on down into this mess here. We need a ground cover. So we've got a ground cover here in the form of a daikon radish. At least I think this guy's a daikon radish. It might be a sugar beet. I'm not really certain which ones are which in all actuality at this point. We could pull it up and find out. But right now, we just want this plant to be growing here, and it's going to be covering the ground, making sure that the ground stays shaded, that it stays moist, and also whenever that root rots away in the ground, it will feed the microbial life in the soil. So I don't have to fertilize. This is providing all the fertility that we need in between the nitrate that the corn itself produces, because this corn does that. Periodically we found morning glory vines in here, and the morning glory vines are a bit of a mess, I'll tell you what. But that tells me something about this soil here. It wants to have a vining plant, so I provided some vines. This is a, hello kitty, this is a black-eyed pea. This is a kitty and a black-eyed pea. The black-eyed pea here is going to be growing, here's another one. These will be growing up and vining up our corn. It'll use the corn to hold on to. So we have, let's zoom back out. So we have numerous different plants filling niches in the ecosystem. Instead of weeds, we have useful species. And each one is serving a purpose. So as you can see, we have no weeds whatsoever. I hope you found this video informative or entertaining, and if you did, you know what to do. I'll catch you next time. Until then, get out there and get growing.